I don't know how they come and get in touch with me. Now, I talked to Daddy's sister that was living with her daughter in Big Springs, Texas. She wrote me after she read in the paper where Ted was killed. She called me there in Artesia.
Now, this your daddy's sister?
Sister,
Well, I didn't know that. I never heard of his sister.
Yes, sir.
Family tree, I don't support that.
Well, I don't care. She
It
was.
might have been
Mike,
something.
she came to see us when we were real little.
You don't remember a lot of this stuff.
She came to see us before Ted was born, when we still lived in that White House before.
God, can you remember
Okay.
3 years old?
I can
4?
remember when I was 5. She came to see us,
I remember things when I was 5 years old.
and she
A lot
told
of
me
things.
about this plumber. I told her about him writing me. And she said she had a letter from this fellow, and it was kin to my mother. Probably a 3rd, 4th, 5th cousin. And she gave him my name and address.
Oh, I see.
I sent $5.
Well, did you ever get anything back? That's nice.
But no, I forgot.
Mine
Thank you,
was
no.
for working the cemetery.
I
I
got
wasn't supposed to get anything back.
I got a thank you note,
Well,
personal.
mhm. Well, that's real nice too.
But her name was Crum, Crum.
Yeah, I knew that Miss Kirk's name was Crumb before she
And
knew.
I just wondered, the head coach in Alabama University or Tennessee or Mississippi, his name is Crum, Crum. I just wonder if he's kin to my mother, distant related, because the DAR, Daughters of the American Revolution or something, I don't know, wanted to get me into that. So
Yeah.
Margaret Smith started me getting me in it, and she found out that I was eligible. And there Jim was. I just couldn't do it. I just said, now Margaret, lay low, just lay off of me. I just.
Today is Sunday, November the 17th, 1991. My name is Mary Carolyn Cooper Elliott, and I'm here in Portales visiting with my Aunt Mary. I think she might have a little story to tell about my name.
Well, many years ago when Carolyn was born, I don't remember what year it was,
1935.
1935, Dr. Brazel said I could watch her being born. And then when her mother was having complications, he said, you just go on and go with your date to the picture show. I said, no, I'm going to stay here and watch this. And he said, no, you're not. Because if you don't leave, he said, I'm going to kick you, you know what. So I left. So when I got back, I saw one of the prettiest babies I'd ever laid my eyes on. And I had begged Jim, I said, now Jim, you must name, if it's a girl, you must name it after me. Because she's going to be special. He said, no, I'm not going to name her after you. I said, okay, just be hateful. But he did name her after me, which is really something, because all these years she has been special. In fact, I just call her my firstborn, and my 2 daughters kind of are jealous of that expression. It's not that I don't love them. A mother's love can never change. But next to mother's love, I've got Carolyn. So,
Now, would you give me your name? Tell me where you were born, where you grew up, where you got married, and had your children.
my maiden name was Mary Lee Kirk. I was born 1916 or 17. December the 21st.
I think Mike was born 1916 and you were born 1917.
That is right.
That's what you call spacing twins.
Uh-huh. Even though Mike was 5 minutes older than I.
5 minutes in 1 year.
Yeah. I grew up in Plainview. I did not finish high school. I liked a half a semester. And the reason I did not finish is because my mother was very ill. And I had a chance to go to business college there free. My father was a lawyer, and he did a lot of law work for this business college. So I took the opportunity. Of course, I regret that I didn't finish that half a year, but I did shorthand and typing and things like that to my advantage, which I used later on in life. And I came to Portales to visit my sister, Louise, and her husband, Jim Cooper. And friends of mine came by from Artesia to pick me up to take me to Artesia. And I got a job down there working in the abstract office. Met my future husband there, J.C. Heffley, married May the 26th, 1940. I had two girl daughters, Betty, Louise, the oldest one, was born 1941, and Mary Catherine, second daughter, was born 3 years and 3 months later. They grew. JC moved to Los Alamos to work on secret stuff up there and maintenance. We were finally moved up there, the girls and myself finally moved up there in 1946. We lived there until 1951. Moved back to Artesia. Lived there all those years. I worked in the county clerk's office, police department, and abstract offices those years. And my husband had cancer of the throat, and he died in Roswell, New Mexico in 1968, was buried in Artesia. I'd worked all those years, came down here in 1970 to visit Jim, Louise. I was fixing to go back to Artesia, and Jim and Louise, Jim said, go home, sell your house, and come back down here and live with us. We've got a beautiful home here, it's big enough. He said, Mary, you and Louise always got along well. Louise needs you, and you need Louise. So that is why I've been living in Portales. I took care of my sister all those years when she became an invalid, which I have no regrets because she would have done the same thing for me. Then my brother-in-law, after Louise's death, Carolyn, did he sell the motor company before Louise's death or after?
It was after.
He sold the motor company, and kind of his eyes, he couldn't drive the car anymore, and he couldn't cook or anything. But before he died, Louise told Jim, and I'm sure she told Carolyn at the same time, but she told Jim one night in the house, she said, Jim, if something were to happen to me, you wouldn't move to Houston at all. And Callie, you don't like it at all, the weather, climate. She said, you and Mary can take care of each other. This is a big enough house for y'all to live in, which I took care of Jim, took him every place, everywhere, every day. We got along beautiful. He's just like a brother to me. Meantime, my two daughters, go back a little back. My Betty married and lived free on her for a while. Betty's been married 35 years. She and her husband and her two married children live in Pampa, Texas. Katie and her husband, her first husband lived in Artesia. They were divorced. She remarried Tommy Gunter in 1973. And at the present time, she and Tommy live in California with their children. Katie had 3 daughters by her first marriage. Leanna lives in Lubbock. Robin lives in Artesia. Shyla lives in Tennessee. So I'm sitting here talking, thinking about how my precious firstborn, we have sinned since she's been here. We have overindulged.
You're going to confess now?
We have overindulged in this beautiful food that we prepared.
Well, we had to try out the recipe.
We had to try out the peanut butter cookbook recipes, which are fabulous.
Low calorie.
Low calories. When she goes home, I'm going on a diet, and she's going to go walking in Houston. I can't walk. I'm kind of a breathing problem. So I've got a little walker thing in my bedroom. I can get on it 15 minutes a day and take some of this 5 or 6 or 7 pounds I have gained since she's been here.
But you're going to put your boots on the right feet, and I'm going to wear my skirt.
So I took Carolyn last Wednesday morning to be my guest at the Woman Club breakfast, one of the main events of the year. Since I was so seriously ill years ago, I had lost a lot of weight, and consequently Carolyn had gained a little, and she could wear my clothes, which I was happy to share with her. So she wore this beautiful suit of mine to the Women's Club, and I looked at her, and I said, "Carolyn, you've got the skirt on backwards." So she turned it around, and everything was fine. I asked her, I said, "Do you want a pair of pantyhose?" "No, I don't need pantyhose. My boots. I've got my boots and some knee-high hose on." I said, "Okay." So we're going out the door almost. I said, "Well, every step you take, I see your knee-high hose." So I promised her I'd hide her, see that she got her legs hid under the table at the Patelis Inn where we had our breakfast.
Now, it wasn't that bad.
It wasn't that bad, really.
You didn't see it till I sat down. But I pulled my skirt down real far.
Of course, I have to exaggerate a little bit.
Now, you want to tell about your boots?
Okay. Carolyn informed me that we were going to Clovis Thursday afternoon. She had quite a few errands to run here in Portales before we went to Clovis. She told me to hurry. And when she says hurry, you hurry. I grabbed my boots. I didn't look, but they slipped on very easy. I got in the car, and we went to town here in Portales, and while I was waiting for her, I thought, well, my big toe to my left foot is hurting me. And that was something that didn't happen with these boots on. So I looked down, and I found out I had the boots on the wrong feet. So I blamed my firstborn for that, because she told me to hurry. So when she came to the car, I was laughing. I said, "Carolyn, I've got my boots on the wrong feet." Well, I thought she was going to flip. She was laughing so hard I thought she was going to fall on her knees. But she graciously came around, opened the car door, and to help me change my boots to clothes. But I had a very, very lovely time since she's been here. I have never laughed so hard in my life at the capers we have pulled and the good food we have eaten. So the weather was got bad and she couldn't leave today.
So I got to rake leaves.
So she couldn't leave Saturday for Houston. So that way she got to stay 2 more days and eat some more good peanut butter.
I straightened out the freezer.
And one thing she helped me. She did all the work. She straightened out the big freezer and the hay freezer in here in the kitchen, which was wonderful. We put all the food together that needed to be put together, and I have enough food in this house to last 3 years, providing I don't have any company. So I'm just waiting for her to come back to hit on her sweet potatoes and
Well,
dressing.
we'll make some more stone soup.
And we will also, I had accumulated over the last 2 years different vegetables that were left over and put them all together, and so we made stone soup with our vegetables, and it is one of the finest tasting soups we have ever eaten. I recommend